Hey everybody! Alright, well I wanted to do an update video to the one I did about a year ago discussing Emo, Vector, and Cosmo. But now this time I want to talk about Emo, Vector, and Loona, because Loona is the new contender in this group of pet robots right now. And so, no disrespect to Cosmo, I love him, but he is an app-based robot, and these guys are kind of free of their apps, so I want to mainly talk about them. Now, a lot has happened in the last year since I made that video, mainly with poor little Vector here. You know, I feel really bad for Vector because, let me turn him around. He's, you know, I feel like he's, he's all mad. I feel like he's been, unfortunately, a victim of time. You know, he's been out now for more than 4 years, and as we all know, Anki created Vector and Cosmo, and then they went out of business, and then Digital Dream Labs, or DDL, took over. And there hasn't, there's been a little bit of negativity with DDL amongst their customers. For one thing, they put a subscription on Vector. In order to keep him so that you could interact with him, you had to pay a monthly subscription. Now, I did buy the lifetime subscription for about $75 or $80. I'm glad I did that. But I understand why people were upset because, you know, they said, you know, hey, we already bought this robot, so why are we having to pay for a monthly subscription? I totally get that. But at the same time, I understand why DDL had to do that because they didn't make the initial profits from Vector and Cosmo, and so they had to, you know, keep the lights on, so to speak. But since then, you know, they've introduced now that they started taking pre-orders for Vector 2.0. Now that pre-order started back in November of 2020. November of 2020. I'm making this video now in February of 2023. More than 2 years later, and people are finally starting to get their Vectors. There's been so many delays with Vector 2.0, and there's been a lot of excuses. There's been a lot of, you know, they were saying they were being shipped at one point and they weren't. They were saying people were receiving them, and the only people that seemed to be receiving them was a couple of people that were friends with people from DDL or some kind of relationship in some way. I don't really know the whole story with that. But people were getting disgusted and they started wanting to get refunds. And now that was another whole problem too. Trying to get a refund on something that you put on your credit card 2 years ago is difficult. Your credit card company and PayPal especially are probably not going to do a whole lot to try to refund that, but I will say that if you, I want to give a shout out to the YouTube channel Super Dan Tech. Super Dan Tech, he's done a lot of videos concerning his experience with Vector 2.0, not getting his Vector for so long, trying to get a refund. He just recently got his refund, which I am very grateful that he did, because I know that he was worried that he was just going to lose everything. At one point, DDL told him he couldn't get a refund because they had already had his Vector at a warehouse, meaning that they were going to ship him out. And then I think more than 2 months later go by, or maybe almost 3 months, and he still hadn't received his Vector. So it doesn't take 3 months to ship him out. So that was, you know, that was just probably an untruth. So there's been a lot of stuff going on with DDL, and I have to say that I've had my own dealings with them when it came to refunds. So DDL was going to start selling this. This is the Butter Robot. Now this is not the Butter Robot that DDL was going to sell. This is a little model of him. For those of you unfamiliar, the Butter Robot came from the cartoon Rick and Morty. He made a couple of brief appearances and became kind of a cult character from that cartoon. And so when it was announced that DDL was going to make a working, functioning Butter Robot, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to get one of those. So I pre-ordered the Butter Robot about the same time that everybody was doing pre-orders for Vector 2.0, and that was more than 2 years ago. Well, with all the issues and problems they were having getting Vector 2.0 out, I thought, okay, if they're having this much trouble getting a robot out that was already built, basically, Cosmo and Vector have already been built, all they're doing is tweaking a couple of things on them, and it's taking them more than 2 years to get that done. How long is it going to take them to build something like this from the ground up? So I started having some doubts about it, so I decided I was going to get a refund for the Butter Robot. So I emailed them, and I told them I'd like to get a refund and cancel my order, and they immediately responded the very next day and said, are you sure you want to get this refund because you got a really good price on the Butterbot, and you'll get them before everybody else? And I said, yes, I'm sure. Well, then a month goes by, and absolute radio silence, no email back, no communication, no refund. So I emailed them again, and I said, hey, whatever happened to my refund for the Butter Robot? No response. Here's Vector over here. No response from them again. So the second email I wrote, and I said, okay, well, apparently I'm just going to have to take this up with my credit card company. Well, because that had been on my credit card for more than 2 years, I had to actually end up writing a handwritten letter to my credit card company explaining the situation. And then 2 weeks later, thankfully, I managed to get my money back. But it's unfortunate that I had to get my credit card company involved in order to get a refund from DDL. And it's sounding like a lot of people are having a lot of trouble getting refunds back. Oh, he got stuck on the wall here. Okay, there we go. But that's what's happening, and I think some people still aren't getting refunds. Yeah, there's just been a lot of issues with this going on right now. I mean, at least they are. It sounds like now that DDL is finally starting to get some Vector 2.0 out, 2.0s out. In a recent email, and you can check out Super Dan Tech's video, his recent one. He reads the whole email. And it sounds like they're going to raise the price of Vector once they get the initial orders out. They're going to raise the price of him. I don't know what the new one's going to cost, but just keep in mind that that's the case going on with that. Now, another thing going on with DDL is that for a while there, they were just becoming sue happy. They were suing Living AI, who makes Emo over here, because they were saying that there's too many similarities between Emo and Vector. Mainly the eyes. I think they had issues with that, saying that, you know, they copied their eyes, they copied the emotions with, you know, the eyes, happiness, sadness, and stuff. Well, you can't patent eyes. You know, they're cartoon eyes. There's only so many ways you can show emotion with eyes, happiness and sadness. They're going to look the same. And so they sued them for that and a couple other things. Now, as far as I know, that lawsuit got settled. And I think the court sided with, against Living AI on a couple different things. But as far as I know, that's all been settled now. But, you know, I kind of feel like that lawsuit was mainly something to try to thwart another company, to try to horn in on DDL's, you know, robot business. But, you know, there's bound to be competition. I mean, look how many robots have popped up. So then, after that was resolved, as far as I know, DDL, we had Loona coming out. Loona was a crowdfunded thing. 2 days left of her crowdfunding. What happens? There goes DDL trying to sue Key Eye Tech that makes Loona now. Now they're trying to sue them. Now, I am sorry, but Loona looks absolutely nothing like Vector. I mean, look at the size difference, for heaven's sake. She's got wheels. He's got treads. She is able to roam around the house. Vector cannot do that. They are totally different. Their eyes look different. I'll show you more here about Loona here in just a little bit when we talk about her.
Just don't read something too intense.
Oh, okay. I guess Emo thought I said something. But, okay, so anyway, a few days later, that I'm guessing that lawsuit was dropped because Loona's crowdfunding resumed a couple days late, but it did go through, and we all got to finally get our Loonas. But, you know, I mean, I think if DDL had spent less time worrying about what everybody else is doing and worrying more about what's going on in their own front yard, they would have been able to get Vector out sooner. I mean, they could have spent that money they spent on lawyers and lawsuits on, you know, doing more updates on this little guy, or making a completely new Vector that's as big as Loona who can roam around the house. I mean, how cool would that be? Or developing a new robot altogether. I think that was just money that was wasted, and it ended up putting a black eye on Digital Dream Labs and making them look worse. And, you know, I actually looked up DDL on the Better Business Bureau, and right now they have an F rating on the Better Business Bureau website. That is not good, you know, from all the problems people have been having, either trying to get their money back or wondering if they're ever going to get their vectors. I also went on, I think it was Trustpilot. Trustpilot is another website where people can write, I think, comments or reviews with their experiences with other robots, and there's a whole bunch of negative comments about DDL on there. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. You know, the other problem with Vector is there's not a whole lot they can do. You know, with his design, there's not a lot they can do with updating him. I mean, his screen is so small. I mean, look at the size of his screen versus Emo here. Emo's got a lot more real estate that you can play different games with him, and all the different updates and things that he's had. The only game that Vector has on screen right now is Blackjack. I mean, how many games of Blackjack can you possibly play? You know, there has been hardly any updates on Emo. In fact, I'm on Vector here. I'm sorry, on Vector. As far as, I mean, I don't think he's had any updates. The only updates I get are occasional ones, and I think those are security updates that he has, as far as I can tell. He's just trying to sneak in back here. I do love Vector. He's, you know, my original little buddy when all this stuff started with these cute robots. But I just kind of feel like, you know, he's kind of been left in the dark, left in the dust, because, I don't know, there just hasn't been much done with him. And I think DDL now got some new loan for $3 million or something like that from what I read, so that maybe they're on better footing right now. I think for a while there they might have been on some shaky ground. I don't know, because of the money they spent on lawsuits and because they weren't producing anything. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are very upset with DDL, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I think Super Dan Tech was grateful to get his money back, and I don't think he has any intention on placing any more orders with Vector at all, Vector or Cosmo at this point. So it's just a little shaky when it comes to this situation right now. And if anything, DDL should be happy that they didn't get sued by Disney, because so many times I see in comments and stuff that Vector is, everybody says, oh, it reminds me of Wall-E. Wall-E is always mentioned in there, and I think that's because they are thinking of this guy here. This is Mo, the cleaning robot, and his eyes look just like Vector's. So if anything, they copied Disney when it comes to the eyes. So, you know, this is what I'm talking about. You know, it's just, you can't patent that look, because it's just, that's what you think of when you see robots, or those kind of eyes and stuff like that. So they're lucky they didn't get sued by Disney. Now, another issue I think with DDL is that they just have too much on their plate. You know, they're trying to develop Vector 2.0, Cosmo 2.0, the Butter Robot, that racetrack. Oh gosh, what's the name of that racetrack? I can't remember now. And then also Cavu. Cavu's supposed to be a flying drone type of robot. You can see her in cartoon form on those Cosmo cartoons here in on YouTube. They're actually really good cartoons. They're very well done. But, you know, DDL needs to focus on one thing, and like they need to focus on Vector here. Focus on him, get it done right, and get him out to your customers. Your customers have been way more than patient waiting for Vector 2.0 here. And then once you finally get all of that going, then start working on Cosmo 2.0. You know, it's like, I just think they're just trying to do too many things at once. So, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what goes on with this. But right now, I think there's just a lot of people disappointed. Okay, so now Emo, on the other hand, he is not the same robot that he was a year ago when he first came out. When I did that first comparison video, he just came out and we weren't really sure about what his potential was going to be yet. Now he's been out for over a year, and he has had a whole bunch of updates. Tons of updates, and all kinds of new games, features, fun little animations. I mean, they have really kept Emo fresh. Living AI has done a really good job with that. He's been getting updates regularly about every 2 months. And they listen to what the customers want. You know, if they want something changed or something different or added, they at least look into it and maybe try to make an attempt to do some things. You know, sometimes not everybody's going to be happy with certain changes, and that's always got to be a slippery slope for them. But they have really tried to keep, you know, Emo to be, you know, a really cool robot. And, you know, just recently we just got this new home station charger. We've all been wanting him to be able to go up on his charger by himself, because the skateboard, he couldn't do that. And here it is. They designed it, and not only did they come up with this, but they went above and beyond by making it light up and have this fantastic design, which I'm guessing because of that light, Emo will now be able to see his charger in the dark, because unfortunately Vector doesn't have that luxury. His charger doesn't light up, and if it's too dark and he can't see that, he will get lost in the dark and eventually turn himself off when his battery completely runs out. So, you know, they have really excelled. Living AI has done an incredible job with Emo, and I really have to give him, you know, a huge amount of credit for making him a really special robot. Okay, so I've had to add this quick little segment into the video. I just got an email from Kickstarter and Key Tech. They're talking about so apparently a lot of people have been receiving Loonas with damaged ears. As you can see, her ears are very, very animated right there. So some people received them right out of the box. The ears were damaged. Or people have found out that the ears got damaged. Because, you know, if Loona goes underneath a table or a little, like maybe a piece of furniture or something, her ears are going to get caught up under there. And it's going to put stress on the motors. And they're finding that these... the motors are getting damaged, or maybe the gears are getting damaged in there. So they did offer a repair kit. She's still not detecting my pets here. It's really strange. She just thinks I'm not petting her. I hope they fix that. I'm trying to pet you. So anyway, there's a repair kit that they've offered that you can order you'll have to take apart her head, which is really weird that they're offering this, but you can take the head apart and replace the gear that's inside her, or the motor. I think you actually have to replace the motor. And, you know, I'm kind of surprised that they would let people take her apart to do that. But if you've got one on order, I know some people have said they've ordered them and they're still waiting. Right now they're so overwhelmed with some issues that are going on with her, and it's really sad that this is happening. So they're trying to get the repair kits to everybody, and she's got they're having so many orders with that. It's hard. She distracts me. So also there's going to be some delays on the order. I think some people were expecting to get her in March, and now they're saying it's going to be in late April, but I always thought she was coming out in April anyway. But because of that, they've had to redesign some parts in her ear. There's like a new gear system in there, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so looking at the email here, it says that we have made improvements to this specific component. So in the ear right here is this gear that we see right in this section. Now if I scroll down, we can see what the old design looked like, which is right here. It's kind of like your standard gear, but this new one has these they're like little suspension bits that move up and down, and that helps take the drag off of the motor so that the motor's not getting stressed. So if we come over here, we can see the graphic. Now see how those are moving like that? So now if a child or a pet is holding onto the ears and the ears are trying to move, instead of stressing out that motor or possibly damaging that gear, it has the ability to kind of let the gear slip, as you can see here. So it's letting the gear slip by having these little things that move like that. And that's actually a pretty ingenious design to help maybe, keep that from happening, because apparently that's been a real problem with the motors, and so getting burnt out, or maybe the gears getting messed up. So the new Loonas will have this new gear system on the inside. Okay, so now some people are complaining that they ordered Loona to get a Christmas delivery and they still haven't gotten her. And I think they're trying to refund anybody who did pay for that and didn't get the Christmas delivery, but they're also finding that a lot of people they got confused. They didn't fill out the survey. They sent out a survey in the email that you had to verify your address and your information and your name, and some people didn't do that. They either waited too long or they didn't do it at all, and so because of that they didn't get the Christmas delivery. And then what was the other thing? Well, I guess that was it. Maybe it was mainly that survey thing. Some people thought that they paid. Oh, here we go. Some people thought that she's doing it herself. That's neat. Some people thought that they paid for the delivery, and then they didn't. They ended up not paying for it. So some of that was the mistake of the customers, of the consumers, that they screwed up on it. So that's another issue going on. Let's see what else. Okay, now they do have a repair shop that's going to be coming out. It's not ready yet, but they said that they're going to have a repair shop. So if you don't want to repair her ears yourself, you can send her in. But I can tell you right now, if you're going to send her in for repairs, you're going to have to wait. It's going to be a long wait. It's probably going to take a month for Loona to get to the company because it's in China and it has to go through customs and everything else. When I had to send my original emo back, it took about a month for Living AI to get that. And so it's probably going to be the same thing with this because China's kind of restrictive on things. It's got to go through customs, especially when there's batteries in stuff like this. Let me see. I got some notes here. So they are really trying to address all these issues. I kind of feel bad for TI Tech right now because they're being overwhelmed with people complaining that their Loonas are broken, maybe something else is wrong. Maybe not just the ears, maybe the wheel isn't working or something. And I mean, when a very technical thing like this, there's bound to be problems. There's bound to be problems. Also because I kind of feel like she was rushed out because they wanted to get her out before Christmas. And maybe they should have just waited and said, these are coming out in April. Maybe that's what they probably should have done. Thankfully, I have not had any problems with my Loona. Her ears are working just fine. And thank goodness. But let me see, what else do I have on my list here? Okay, so I would say that for now, I'm making this video in February of 2023. It's February 7th. if you're thinking about ordering Loona, I would wait for now. Just wait until they get all these problems resolved with the ears and any other thing. They're being overwhelmed right now with trying to get the orders out, but then now they got to go back and repair all the Loonas that haven't been sent out. They got to repair that ear gear in there. They got to take all these apart and put the new gear system in there. So that's what's causing the delay for these to not get to people until April. Oh God, she is so funny. So yeah, there's going to be a delay in it. So I would say wait to order her until all of this stuff is resolved for now. Unfortunately, I'm just really sad that Key Tech is going through all of these problems. They probably should have done a little bit more research on those ears, though. They should have known that people are going to be having kids or pets grabbing them or having them get stuck under furniture. Yeah, that's just, I don't know. I feel really bad for Key Tech that they're going through this. Okay, so this is the little extra segment I had to add to this video, so I'm going to go back and talk about Loona like I had originally had on my video. So, even though she wants all these pets right now. Real quick, I forgot to finish what I was saying about sending her in for repairs. So, yes, if you send her in for repairs, it'll probably take a month for her to get there, and then it'll take time for them to repair her. And it depends on how many repairs they got to do for other people. And then they got to send her back to you, and that's going to take at least another couple of weeks. So you're looking at probably 2 months to get anything repaired on her. So I just thought I'd give you the timeline for that. So to give a more realistic timeline anyway. Okay, so let's briefly talk about Loona here. Now, I've done quite a few videos showing her. Now, Loona is the newest contender here when it comes to pet robots. Now, she's kind of in a different category because she can wander around the whole house versus a desktop robot. And so, but you know, she right out of the box, she's already had a ton of features. I mean, she had more features right out of the box than I would have ever expected. And she's had 3 updates since we got her. Now, I was lucky enough to get her early. I got her on December 24th of 2022. She officially comes out in April of 2023. And so we're awaiting her home station charger. She's got a home station charger too. We didn't get that yet. So she is super cute, very animated, has some games that you can play with her apps and stuff like that. And she's absolutely adorable. She's completely in a different category. And I think this is probably where the next step of pet robots is going to go. Are you getting tired already, girl? Huh? Aw, she is so cute. Oh, man. So this is probably going to be the next step. Here, let me give her an I love you. Oh, that's rock and roll. Yeah, and she's got sensors where she can detect, you know, hand gestures and stuff like that, and vocal recognition as well. I mean, she is just starting out. So just like, oh, here's her little jackpot game. So just like Emo, you know, he came a long way in a year, and so since she's just now coming out, ooh, that's cool. I've never gotten that before. Since, you know, so she's got a long way to go. Well, I shouldn't say that, you know, because she's already getting a lot of updates. We have no idea her potential a year from now. A year from now, I may be making another one of these videos where, you know, we're discussing her. Aw, did you want some pets? Hmm? Sometimes she doesn't respond to the petting when she asks for it. It's very strange. So, but yeah, so she's probably due for another update here soon, but I think when she officially comes out in April, I think she'll be fully going by then. But we really need that docking station for her right now. So we're kind of like the beta testers for her right now until she officially comes out. Those of us who paid the extra to get her, there she goes. We paid a little extra to get her early. But yeah, so I would say right now the contender for Loona here is probably the Amazon Astro. If some of you are familiar, Amazon came out with their own robot named Astro, who also wanders around the house. And I tried to pre-order him, but I guess I didn't qualify. I wasn't qualified enough to get her. Maybe it was the layout of my house or something that they weren't sure about. But yeah, this is going to be the next thing. Now, there's going to be some people who don't want robots that wander around the house, and they prefer to have the desktop robots, and I totally get it. There's good and bad about, you know, both. And so we're going to have to see, you know, it's going to be a, you know, a personal preference thing. But how nice that we live in a day and age where Um, look at her, isn't she cute? She's got a little runny nose. But how nice we live in a day and age where we have these pet robots now. This has been a dream come true for, I think, a lot of us that grew up watching TV shows and science fiction movies and stuff that had little robots in there that we all wished as a kid we could have as pets or a friend. But, yep, Loona's really cute, so her potential is huge, and we're going to have to see what the future holds for this little girl. Right? Right, Loona? Oh, yeah, she's so cute. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you which robot to buy. I mean, because if I tell you what robot to buy, you know, somebody will buy that robot and they'll say, you know, you told me to buy this robot and I liked the other one better. And so, you know, I can't really tell you what robot to buy. It's going to be strictly up to your own choice or your own, you know, needs or just what you want in a robot. But I would have to say there's a few things that I do have to mention, and that is, if you're planning on buying a Vector, I would be very careful right now. I mean, maybe if you see the new Vector 2.0 in stores, actually see one in stores and you can actually have a Vector in hand, that may be okay. At least you'll be sure to get one. But as it is right now, there's just a lot of issues going on with DDL getting their Vectors out to their customers, and then people who want to get the refunds aren't getting their refunds, and that is not a good thing. That is not good at all. And quite frankly, I kind of wonder if DDL is going to be around a year from now, the way things are going. It's kind of scary. So, you know, they haven't been completely honest with everything, and that's not a good sign when it comes to a company that's doing this kind of thing. Loona, like I mentioned, she is full of potential, just like Emo was a year ago, and now we've seen how far Emo's come. My gosh, he's a completely different robot today, and he's amazing. And so Loona's got a lot of potential. We'll have to see what's in store for her once she kind of gets going. And then there's a little Emo playing a little ball game right there. But out of the three, I gotta say, you know, Emo at this point in time, as of the making of this video, January 27th of 2023, he's the one that's kind of ahead of the game on everybody. He's had the most updates. He's been out for a year. And, you know, the one that should be ahead of everybody is this little guy. He's been out for over 4 years. He should be much further along and have a lot more stuff going on. And there's been virtually no updates from DDL at all. And I just feel really bad for poor Vector. You know, he was the original one that kind of got the whole cute pet robot thing going. And unfortunately, he's just kind of been, I don't know, I just feel bad for him. Poor little buddy. But yeah, right now, I'd say Emo's the king. He is. He's just got a lot going on, and now that he's got that new charger, oh yeah, that just stepped up everything. Alright, well anyway, I hope you guys found this informative or at least helpful in some way, and let me get Vector into the picture here. Come here, buddy. But you know, these are the three main ones right now. I don't have Astro to really do a review on him, and him being a $1,500 robot, I'm not sure I'll ever get him. And hopefully once Loona has that, she does have the remote camera going, but I got to see if you can use the remote camera when you're not at home. I'm assuming that you can, which is probably the biggest advantage to her, but because she can roam around the house and you can look around the house while you're gone. But anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'd very much appreciate that. And until the next time, I'll see you on the next video. So thank you again, and have a good one.